Hey guys, welcome back to the CulePodcast. Welcome back to another video. On today's video, I'm going to be giving you an injury update in regards to Pedri and Frankie De Jong. And then as well, I'm going to be talking about a report that has come out in which Xavi is reportedly suing two journalists. I will be talking about that. And then, towards the end of the video, I'm going to be talking about Fermin Lopez, as he did give an interview. And he basically talked, about his debut with Barca and some other interesting quotes. But guys, before I get started on the video, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms. Make sure to go over there and check me out. That way you guys can stay up to date with everything that I do on the channel. Well, guys, let's get straight into the video and let's talk about Pedri and Frankie De Jong, as there has been an update in their situation. And Pedri, he has been training. He has been doing individual work. He hasn't been training with the squad, and the same thing can be said with Frankie De Jong. This is an image of Pedri, for example, during the international break. He is training, but as you can see, he is training by himself. He is training on the pitch, which is good signs. And Barcelona at this point in time, they're confident that both him and Frankie de Jong will be able to be available for that first leg against PSG. Just the thing is, it's a doubt on whether they would be a starter. It's most likely that they're going to be an impact player off the bench. That's most likely going to be the scenario, and they're going to be coming maybe on the 60th minute, getting 30 minutes, 20 minutes off the bench. But that's still a huge boost for Xavi because both of these players can provide such a big difference in quality whenever they're on the pitch, and that's very, very good news for Barcelona. But guys, definitely let me know your guys' thoughts on that. Do you guys think that both Pedri and Frankie de Jong are going to be able to make that first leg against PSG? But now, guys, I'm going to be talking about Xavi suing two journalists. And this is a report from Mas Pelotas, Adrian Sanchez, another Barcelona YouTuber. And he says this: Xavi is suing journalist Javi Miguel for a report published by him stating that a coach has forced some of his members of his staff to put their mobile phones on the table to check who was leaking news. Now, this is in regards to, for example, earlier in the season when a whole bunch of reports were coming out saying like, hey, the players are unhappy with Xavi, some controversies regarding the squad, so some distrust and everything like that, saying, hey, Xavi doesn't trust this player, he doesn't like this player. And, Xavi, he basically came out and said, hey, this is completely false. I did not ask my members of staff to basically put on their phone tables just so I can check it. That was not the case. And so now Javi Miguel, he has a deadline to rectify the information. And if he does not do so, Xavi will go ahead with the law. So it's not only him, but another journalist also by the name of Manuel Gabois. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but obviously it's not a good thing to have these because it's another distraction, and we don't want off the field distractions, but we want to be focusing on the football. But no, guys, I'm going to be talking on a little bit more positive. I'll be talking about Fermin Lopez, and as I said, he talks about his debut. He talked about his relationship with Xavi, and then as well, he talks about that goal against Real Madrid in the preseason friendly at the start of the season. And this is what he says about himself as a player. Moving in between the lines is a quality I possess. The manager stresses the importance of this a lot. And you can see this in Fermin Lopez's game. For example, in the game against Atletico Madrid, you saw how many runs in behind Fermin Lopez was making. And in one of those runs, he was able to get on the end of a cross, and he gets, I believe it was the third goal. And Fermin Lopez so far and throughout the season, I think he's been underrated by a lot of Barcelona fans. Fermin Lopez, whenever he has been called upon and Xavi has basically given him minutes, Fermin Lopez has responded. Yes, he's had like one or two bad performances, but who doesn't? The guy is relatively young. He's 21, I believe. He's still a relatively young player, and he is growing. And it's very, very important that we see him more in the team. And this is the next quote I'm going to be talking about is in regards to Fermin Lopez and if he is thinking ahead to the PSG match. And Fermin responds says, no, not yet. We have to go match by match. Now we're thinking of Las Palmas. And I think this is just Fermin Lopez, basically giving some respect to Las Palmas, because as a, I mean, like me personally, and I think a lot of us Barcelona fans are sharing the same sentiment. We are not really paying attention to Las Palmas, as La Liga is basically dead. Obviously, we need to do well in La Liga because we need to clinch that second place spot now, because that allows us to qualify for the Supercopa España, which is going to be allowing us to bring in some more revenue. It's financially important, but it's going to be almost impossible to basically mount a comeback on Real Madrid. And so Barcelona, I think now our full focus should be on the Champions League. And tomorrow I am going to be making a match preview, guys, in which I discuss, hey, what could be the possible the possible teams that Xavi can line up, who's going to be rested, and everything like that. Because on Saturday's match against Las Palmas, it's going to be a very, very key game, and it's going to allow us to determine, hey, how is this team going to, to be ready, and the preparation in order to face PSG in the Champions League. But now the next call I'm going to be talking about, is that in that preseason tour. And he basically says this: I wasn't supposed to join preseason, but Xavi trusted me. I was training well, and he gave me the opportunity. Now, I know Xavi's tenure at Barcelona, it hasn't been perfect, but this is the one of the few things in which Xavi has been absolutely spot on, and he's been doing so, so well. And that's giving minutes to the Barcelona youngsters and La Masia players. For example, you have Fermin Lopez, you have Alejandro Balde, you have Lamine Yamal, you have Gavi. There's so many more that I can talk about. For example, but Hector Four as well. But the opportunities that he's giving these young players, it's so, so key. And you see how these youngsters, they are responding. La Masia is always there for you, and when you trust these youngsters, they want to succeed at Barcelona. They see a path to the first team, and this is why it's so difficult for these youngsters to basically accept those offers elsewhere. They, for example, they are Barcelona players. They understand what it is to play for the club, and on top of that, they view their chances of playing in the first team, to be very high, and they see a path into the first team and say, "Hey, I want to stay at Barcelona and I want to succeed." And that relationship that Xavi has with the youngsters, it plays a factor into it. And continuing on, Xavi gave me the opportunity to play in the preseason El Clasico. I was nervous at first, but I quickly liberated myself. I scored the goal, and that's how my journey started. And it has been going on until now. And what a moment to basically start your Barcelona career, scoring a goal against Real Madrid in El Clasico. That's an absolutely amazing moment. And I remember that. And it was absolutely fantastic. It was absolutely wonder goal. And if you guys don't remember, this is the goal in which Fermin Lopez was able to beat Courtois in goal. But continuing on, the journalist, they asked Fermin Lopez, does he want Xavi to stay? And Fermin responds, we don't talk about it. He made his decision when we respect it. If he ends up staying, we'll be happy to. And I think this is a sentiment that's shared throughout, like, the entirety of the squad. I think a lot of the Barcelona squad, they like Xavi, and they're liking the work that he's doing. They have faith in him, and a lot of them would like for Xavi to stay. And I know the board, they definitely agree with that sentiment, and they would like him to stay. But obviously, Xavi, I think, is making the right decision, saying that, hey, no matter the outcome of the season, I think I should pack my bags and just say, hey, my tenure at the time at Barcelona is over. But that does not mean that he can't come back in the future. Obviously, there has been some fairy tale comebacks, but no, it just shows how much the players, they appreciate and respect Xavi. But continuing on, Fermin Lopez, now he talks about the Olympics, and he says, "If I'm called up to the Olympics, I think the club would let me go." And his situation is a little bit different than Pedri's or maybe Pau Cubarsi's and Lamine Yamal, because Fermin Lopez, he's another player who's playing a significant amount of minutes so far in the season. He has been getting minutes, but he's not a regular. He isn't starting every single game and playing 90 minutes. No, he's more of a bench player. He's more of a rotational player. And so if Fermin Lopez goes to the Olympics, I definitely see the benefit of that. And apologies for that. But guys, that was it for the video for tonight. It was a lot of information. I talked about Pedri and Frankie De Jong, two players, who are recovering and who are making good progress in order to be ready for that match against PSG. And as well, I talked about Xavi suing two journalists, Javi Miguel and Manuel. The boys, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but hopefully that ends in an amicable way, because we don't want negative or just off the field distractions when we want to be focusing on football. And then lastly, I did talk about Fermin Lopez's words in regards to Xavi, and it shows that good relationship between Xavi and the youngsters, and that's very, very good to see. But guys, thank you guys all for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. Later tonight, we are going to be making a footballing challenge video, so make sure to tune in for that. And I'll catch you guys all in the next video.